final time. And most thrilling, today is the last day we will ever have to wear the same thing as the people sitting next to us. Now, a few weeks ago at our alumni panel, one alum mentioned that there's a bond connecting each St. Joseph's graduate. I think there's some truth to that statement. There is a very distinct bond that connects our class together. This bond isn't formed from liking the same music or playing the same sport. It's not even formed from walking into the same school and wearing the same thing every day. This bond is formed from surviving Mr. Ducheney's vocab quizzes and memorizing the Canterbury Tales. It's formed from attending Kairos and other retreats. It's formed when we all think we can write fairly well, but Ms. Kuhn quickly debunks that myth and gives us all C's instead. It's a bond formed when we stay at school till 3 a.m. during tech week, or we train year-round to win a state championship. It's a bond formed when we watch the Decalogue freshman year and none of us still understand what the hobo symbolizes. It's formed as we listen to Mr. Gabor's corny jokes and the Miss Humus teaches about the man without a face. It's formed listening to Mr. Carr teach us how to rend a wing. And of course, it's formed as we reflect upon Mr. Krushenik's quotes of the day. On the first day of 6th grade, the quote written on Mr. Krushenik's board read, "It is not the leaving of port, but the coming into the harbor that determines the success of a journey." That was the first day of our journey. Today marks the last. And boy, have we had quite the journey. We've all grown quite a bit as a class, a school, and individually to become the St. Joseph's graduating class that is sitting here today. If you don't believe that our journey's been that interesting, just look at the way the school's changed over the past 7 years. The school now has a gym, a football field, a practice field, and an upper middle school, none of which existed when our journey began. The middle school households now have actual names rather than titles based off Lord of the Rings. An 8th period now exists. The green polo is no longer part of the uniform, as that clearly gave us way too many options. Mass is now celebrated on Thursday rather than Friday. The Commons now has new furniture. That's a little different than the old, comfortable couches that were previously there. We've also accomplished much over the course of our journey. We've won numerous championships, academic and athletic. We've won art competitions and were named National Merit Scholars. We've performed in great shows and started new clubs. We even restarted the school newspaper and helped establish the new literary magazine, Inkscape. Yes, we've had quite the journey, but in all honesty, we won't remember any of it 10, 20, or 30 years from now. So where does that leave us? Will we actually remember anything from St. Joe's? Besides, of course, the fact that we have infinite desire and limited ability, which I'm pretty certain none of us will admit. What has our journey given us that will remain with us for the rest of our lives? To find the answer, just look around the room today. Look at the 70 other members of our class sitting next to you. There are connections between the 71 of us that are much more important than any test grade or exam score. This doesn't mean we're all best friends, but we can't deny that we've all affected each other in some capacity. Some of these connections may fizzle out after today, and some may last a lifetime. But whether we'll go to Clemson in the fall with nearly half the class, or we'll never see each other again, our journey has allowed us to develop relationships that we will always remember. If you continue to look around, you'll see the faculty and staff, most of which are sitting right over there. Our journey has brought us into contact with some amazing teachers who truly care about us. How many times have we stopped by their rooms after class to talk about something completely unrelated to the course? Over the years, we've expanded our relationships with our teachers beyond the classroom. We may not remember what they taught us, but we'll remember how much they cared. After you've looked around the whole room, your eyes naturally come to the focal point, the altar and tabernacle. This is very fitting, as perhaps the most important aspect of our development over the course of our journey has been our connection with God. We've all experienced God in so many ways throughout our journey. We've seen Christ not only in Mass, but in the faces of our teachers and friends. This connection is the most important one, as it will last much longer than a lifetime. So, that's our journey, defined by the lasting connections we've made. It wasn't easy, by any means, but I think we can all say we're different people today than when we started. Looking back, it wasn't only about memorizing formulas or the Gettysburg Address. It wasn't only about being involved in a variety of clubs. It was about building relationships with others in order to build ourselves. It was about creating connections that have greatly affected who we are today and who we will be tomorrow. It wasn't only about what we learned, but about those with whom we learned. So I return to the original quote. It is not the leaving of port, but the coming into the harbor that determines the success of a journey. Class of 2012, how successful was our journey? It's no secret that we haven't exactly agreed on everything over the years, but I think if we look around the room today and look at each other, we can all agree that our journey was truly a great success. Therefore, I ask all of you to examine who you are today at the end of our journey. Look at who you've become and remember that person. I'm not saying we should all be the same person 10 years from now as we are today. Rather, I'm saying our journey has created 71 young people who have the potential to have a great effect on society. But we can't just stop at potential. We must always remember the words of the great, great Jedi Master Yoda. Do or do not, there is no try. Trying to have an effect changes nothing. Having an effect changes everything. It's our job to go and do just that. Fellow graduates, go out and seek God's plan for your life. Go out and make your next journey just as successful as this one. This is not an easy task, but it's what we've been preparing for. Our new journeys will test us in ways exponentially more difficult than Mr. Duchesne's vocab quizzes. But if we keep our hearts and minds open to God's will, we will find greater success and happiness than we could ever imagine. If we keep our hearts and minds open to His will, we can show the world how to truly achieve greatness. Thank you very much. God bless and go nice.